Hey there, this is Todd with Real Social Dynamics and RSD Inner Circle. What I want to talk to you about today is content of conversation. By that I mean verbal, or in this case textual content of the conversation. At the very least, out of this, hopefully, you will understand a format so that for online game, you can literally pick up girls, or you can literally get a date almost as easy as ordering Chinese food. Okay, that's how it should be, or at least hopefully if your phone game is good, you can do that. You can at least get phone numbers as easy as ordering Chinese food. Okay, so the most efficient way to do online game, the most efficient way to do text game, actually the most efficient way to do game in general, if you don't care about quality and if you're willing to play a massive numbers game, is going to be extremely structured, extremely brief, and just put low effort into every interaction and have a lot of interactions. If you just take that approach, you can get a massive amount of dates very, very quickly. What you won't get in general is you won't get the absolute hottest girls, and you won't necessarily get the girls that you're the most compatible with, but you will get just a shit ton of dates. All right, that's what I used to do online when I was just trying to, like I said, just land in a place and have a bunch of girlfriends, because it takes zero effort. It's really copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, log out, done, don't think about it, and then just get whatever phone numbers you get. The structure is very simple. Structure is very like, get their attention, give them a compliment, say something cool about you so there's something to discuss, and then close. But close softly enough that it's not offensive to them, not something that they're scared of, and that it makes it just easy for them to reply and not read too much into it. That's it. How much more awkward is it when you have to be like, oh yeah, hey, it's Todd from online. We've never spoken before. You don't know what I look like. You probably didn't even read my profile. I know I sure as shit didn't read yours, but here I am. So that's even more awkward. So to me, it's super, super important that you get your number in their phone. So I come up with some kind of cute text message that gets your number in their phone. Make sure that your profile is something that grabs attention, but also conveys your personality. Those are the two criteria that it must have. It must, in fact, grabbing attention is the most important, right? Don't be afraid to be quirky, don't be afraid to be weird, don't be afraid to be like asshole, and don't be afraid to tweak it. Don't be afraid to just tweak the living shit out of it. Also, don't be afraid at first to go online and just review some other guy's profiles, see what you like of theirs, and steal it. Don't steal cliches, don't steal shit like, you know, I work hard, but I play hard, or, you know, I can just as happy being out on the town as like sitting on my couch watching a movie or something. Like that kind of cliche bullshit, just cut that shit. That's just waste of time. Every guy puts that, fuck it. But I've had girls that I mass texted for 3-4 months, especially girls that lived in different cities that I don't even live in. And then when I came back to the city, we ended up getting together. So the biggest thing is just follow up. Even if your follow-up's not that great, even if it's not specifically tailored to the girl, and even if it lacks a soul, the fact of the matter is, number one, just follow up. Okay, so now that we're done with like the first initial message, or now that we're done with general strategy, let's talk about how to deal with specific types of messages you might get in terms of online messages or text messages. There's a few different categories of messages you'll get. Number one type of message you'll get is a shit test. You'll just get a situation where it's just totally like, they responded, so they like you, right? Recognize that any response is a positive, but at the same time, it's a lot harder to deal with a shit test or an angry response or whatever than with a positive, flattering response. So it's still not the best possible response. So how do you deal with those? How do you deal with like a shit test? And now here's where she gave me the shit test. She said, can you keep me from getting bored? Right? Full shit test. Can you keep me from getting bored? So now at this point, don't think about escalating the interaction. Don't think about moving it forward. What do you think about? Just pass the shit test. So what did she say? Can you keep me from getting bored? I said, no, period. And then I returned and then I said, actually, yes, I can. But if you can't keep yourself entertained, we're not going to get along anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then her next response was, what's your number? We should hang out. So what did I do? I just passed the shit test. I didn't try and escalate the interaction. I didn't try, this will make more sense in a second, because I'm going to talk about progressing the interaction and closing for phone numbers, etc. But I didn't try any of that. I didn't try to move it forward. I didn't try to like be needy or go for a meetup in any way. I didn't try and help her with the next message by asking a question. I didn't try and make it easy for her in any way. All I did was pass the shit test and put it back on her. In my experience with online game, with text game, if you get like hard shit tests, that's all you need to do. Just deal with the shit test and trust the rest from there. Just reassert your frame, just flip the script, and then deal with the progression later. Okay? When you're getting positive messages, that's when you're going to want to be progressing it. That's when you want to be moving it to the next step, which is what we'll talk about in a second. Let's say you don't get a shit test. Let's say you get a message with some positive. Actually, let's say you get a message that is positive but very logical, right? If she says, she responds back, hey, good to hear from you. How was your weekend? Right? Something like that. Now that's another interesting situation, right? The logical question. First of all, realize that logical questions are indicators of interest. Okay? Logical questions are pure indicators of interest, but they're not really helpful because they're going to lead to logical conversation, which is going to destroy the interaction. So a logical question basically is the girl's way of saying, I want to keep talking to you, but I don't know what to say. So it's a huge indicator of interest, but it's also a landmine because it leads to this boring interaction. I call it a soft close because it's not, let's get drinks Tuesday at 8. It's also not, what's your phone number for online, because that's the more solid close. So by making it not specific and by not asking for anything exact, you're making it something she can say yes to without feeling obligated or without feeling nervous. So you're essentially pinging to see if the close is viable. And then if she's positive on that, then that's when you go for the actual close. Right? So that's what I would typically do in this situation. When you have logical questions but no overt IOIs, then you'd go for the soft close, the sort of more lighter close. Now, if you're getting overt compliments, that's when you can go for the quick close. That's basically 3 different types of textual situations you're going into. 1 is the shit test. 2 is the logical question scenario where it's positive in that they're responding. Even it can be a longish response, but it's all logical. There's just not a lot to work with. And so if there's not a lot to work with, then you have to be a little creative. Then you deal with the logical part. Then you have to have that one sentence of like either flippancy or creativity. Oh, another thing with text messages that can work for that one sentence is some kind of photo. If you're taking like a funny photo out, you can answer the question, send a funny photo, and then try and close. So that's another way to be a little creative, is do the photo instead of text. But you need to add personality. Again, add some value, add some uniqueness to the conversation. And then you can progress it. And I would say soft close in that case. Or if you're getting overt, like you're so hot, let's hang out, don't be stupid in that case. Just close, just get her on the date and go from there. Or just get her on the phone and go from there. So that's a few different responses. The last scenario of type of response that I want to deal with is the silence response. Now, what I will do in this case is I will send just pure value offering messages. I do this online as well. I've had a few girls, and I can even walk you through scenarios on the video conference where the girls like blatantly just stopped communicating with me, but by just being persistent and continuing to message them, I did end up getting them out on a date. So now you know how to deal with the 4 different types of responses you're going to get, right? What are the 4 responses? Silence, in which case you just send them pure value offering stuff, just fun, flippant value offering. If you get the shit test, don't try and progress the interaction, just pass the shit test, just reframe it in a funny way and go back on it. You can even be slightly attacking of them at times to pass the shit test. If you get the logical questions, deal with the logical question, but get off of it quickly. Don't get too logical. Something fun and flippant afterwards, and then progress the interaction. And then if you are getting positive, like overtly positive stuff, go for the close.